Just a quick reminder, guys, these narrations are best enjoyed with headphones on. Ladies and gentlemen, start your emulators. It is time for another episode of RetrOS, the show where we give you a recommended dose of nostalgia but reviewing games from your childhood. This is Tailsdown here from Sonic Prime. The emphasis is on the 9. In this episode, we turn the clocks back to the year in 1988, as we take a look at a classic platformer for the N64 library, which, earlier on in this month, was recompiled for PC platforms. So, is this game worthy of remembrance, or should this game be lost forever in the pages of gaming history? Well, without further ado, let's find out. The year is 1988. The claymation and celebrity parody got controversial as the first episode of MTV's Celebrity Deathmatch was aired. The show features pairs celebrities pitted against each other and fights to the death. The way we listen to music on the go fundamentally changed as the world's first mass-produced MP3 player was launched. The storage capability of the player was only 32 megabytes, which only enough for 8 songs.
Or 2.3 inches for Sweden and 14 megabytes on the original version.
And we were introduced to the tale of Farm Mulan and its guardian dragon Mushu, voiced by the legendary Eddie Murphy.
You definitely need some Tic Tacs or something, because your breath stinks!
As Disney's Mulan premieres in theaters on the 5th of June. Now, 1999 was probably the best year for the gaming industry in general. Pokemon became a global phenomenon, as the original red and blue versions of the hit titles was released in the USA. These titles still hold the record of the fastest selling in the Game Boy's library. Now, the Game Boy Color was also released. It featured a smaller and sleeker design, and, for the first time, a full color screen. The 6th generation of consoles officially kicked off, as the Sega released the ill-fated Dreamcast in Japan. The consoles featured again, for the first time, a built-in modem, which allowed the console itself to connect to the internet, thus allowing online play. 1998 also saw the release of numerous revolutionary all-time classics. These include Half-Life, developed by Valve Software, StarCraft, released by Blizzard Entertainment, a title that was hailed as the greatest game ever made, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The list goes on. Banjo Kazooie is another entry on this list, released on the 29th of June or July 17th in Europe. After Microsoft's acquisition of Rare in 2002, this classic was ported to the Xbox 360 in 2008. In this game you play as Banjo's the bear and his trusty birdie sidekick Kazooie, who lives on the base of Spiral Mountain, where trouble was brewing at the summit as the evil witch Gruntilda, after finding out that Banjo's sister Tootie was the prettiest girl on the mountain, kidnapped Tootie and took her back to her lair. Now her evil scheme for Gruntilda was to steal Tootie's beauty. It is up to you to go through the various worlds in Gruntilda's lair to rescue your sister before Tootie goes through an unexpected makeover. Okay guys, the accessibility scores are as follows. To kick things off, visibility I scored a 10. Due to the game's age, there are no colorblind modes in this interface, but there's very little need for one. Although the Jinjos you need to save are color-coded, the contrasts are colorblind friendly. These are green, blue, purple, yellow, and orange. For playing with a visual impairment, you will find no issues when playing this classic. Next up, audibility, I scored a 9.5. Again, due to the game's age and the space limitations of an N64 cartridge, there is no spoken dialogue in this game. All dialogue is text-based, with a unique sound for every speaker, similar to Undertale. Back in those days, imagination has to fill in the blanks. However, there are certain areas of a level, for example, Treasure Trove Cove, when you're in danger of being attacked, for example a shark, audio cues should warn you. Although that it might not be game-breaking, the dialogue should give you warning. So this game is playable for hearing impairments, but a few issues exist. Next up, mobility, I scored an 8. Let's get the negatives out the way. There's no way to change the button layout from the original N64 version, and the same goes for the Xbox 360 port as well. The recently released recompiled version is probably the most accessible way to play this game. You can rebind the controls to suit your impairment. As a case in point, certain abilities that require the Z trigger to be held, like firing eggs, and using Kazooie's talent shot using an N64 controller, can be very tricky. The Xbox 360 version is a fair bit better due to the smaller controller size, but the lack of remappable button layouts is an issue for players with mobility impairments.
That's not good enough!
And last but only by no means least, gameplay is got a 10. Once again, Rare's flair in showing this classic. The DNA of the legendary Super Mario 64 is still showing in this game. Each level has its own set of moves to learn, items to collect, and jigsaw pieces to locate. You could use these to unlock additional levels as you progress deeper into Gruntilda's lair. Molehills allow you to learn new abilities thanks to bottles. Also, there's bird-like creatures called Jinjos, hidden in every level. Collecting all of them grants an extra life. Notes are scattered around each level. Collecting enough notes opens secret doors in Gruntilda's lair. What makes this game different from Super Mario 64 is you don't get hints on where each piece is. So in a weird way, you're living life on veteran difficulty. In summary, Banjo-Kazooie is a classic in its own right. The additional abilities that makes this game unique. It forces you to be thorough with your exploration. Each level has 10 jigsaw pieces to hunt down. As I said before, the game was ported to the Xbox 360 in 2008, with the games being backwards compatible with Xbox One and included with Game Pass Premium. And as I have said, the game got recompiled for PC. There's absolutely no excuse to at least give this game a try. Then the overall score is a 93.5%. This is Tails9 here from Sonic Prime, the acting head of RetrOS signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next review.